Okay, fourth graders, we're going to look at a couple problems that we're going to multiply a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number. So I think the math won't feel very complicated to you, but then I'm going to show you another way to estimate. It has a couple more steps in order to get a more accurate feel for if your answer is reasonable or not. So I'm going to go ahead and solve it. It's nice we only have one of our numbers is just in the ones place, so we have really just one group of to solve. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24, and I'm going to carry my 2. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20, and then I'm going to carry my 2. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. I'm going to put my comma. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to estimate. I'm going to look at my, and I kind of want to get a more accurate estimate here. Okay, we're going to show it two ways. So I can go to, if I look at 3,681, I might say that rounds to 4,000. And I'm going to multiply it by 3. And I'm going to be thinking of 4 times 1,000. So I'm going to do 4 times 3 is 12, times 1,000 equals, equals 12,000. Okay, which, I look at this and I'm like, that kind of looks far. Why does that look far, fourth graders? You're going to have to kind of think about that in your head. Essentially, we're saying we're missing 300 groups of 3, or, or 3 groups of 300. So another way I can look at this is I can say, well, I'm going to pull out my 3,000. I'm going to do a quick multiplication, and I know that's 9,000, and then I'm going to pull out my 681. I'm going to say that really rounds to 700, and I'm going to multiply that by 3, and that's going to give me 2,100. And so now I can add 9,000 plus 2,100 and get, if I look at that and I'm going to add it, I'm going to go ahead and get 11,100, which you can see is a closer estimate. But I'm really looking at pulling my numbers out more. I'm just going to pull out my thousands, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to look at my hundreds, and I'm going to make a stronger estimate. And if I think about 681 falls between 600 and 700, and it's really closer to 700. So I'm trying to really balance out my groups of. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, Ms. Hawk, if you round to 4,000, 3,681 to 4,000, and you're roughly pulling out, 300 groups, like you could say 300 times 3, right, is 900, and then you can say 12,000 minus 900 gets us to 11,100. So which you could do it that way as well. You have to look at your numbers and you're beginning to think about how far apart the number is from your original, your estimate number, how far it is from your original. And if I look at 4,000 and I look at 3,000, say 700, I can say it's about 300 apart. So I'm adding on those 300 groups to my estimate, but I can also take them out to get a more accurate estimate. You're going to practice estimating different ways to get a closer estimate. And I want to see that thinking and that work, fourth graders. All right, so your work today, you're going to be doing activities homework and remembering 217, pages 61 and 62. And you're going to see this says on a separate sheet of paper, do an area model. I'm okay if you do shortcut at this point. I'm going to feel comfortable that you can do the area model. Maybe it would be good for you to try one using the area model. But then you're going to round and estimate to check your answer. So think about how you can really round and estimate to do that and get a close estimate. Now, you're going to have some word problems. So 4th grade class is counting the supplies in the school's art closet. Help them to finish their count. So you're going to have some word problems to solve. And then on the back, you're going to have some review problems. And then, again, it says draw a rectangle. I'm okay if you use the traditional method. And I'm okay if some of you also use the distributive property. Some of you might want to get back to the distributive property because I know some of you like to do the math in your head, but I still want you to show me what you're doing if you're doing it in your head. Because for some of you, you might look at this problem right here, number 5, and say, gosh, 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 10 is 30, and so that's 48, and then 3 times 800, so you might begin to do some of that in your head, and I'm okay with that. Just show me your thinking so I have an idea of what you're doing. Now when we look at this last one, stretch your thinking, this is going to go back over some of the estimation that I talked about in the beginning. Zoe rounded 6 times 8,493 to 6 times 8,000. Andrew rounded 6 times 8,493 to 6 times 9,000. Who will have an estimate closer to the actual product? How do you know? Explain another way to estimate 6 times 8,493 that would give you a better estimate. So stop and think about how you might do that to get a closer estimate. Okay, that is your work for today. If you have a question, 4th graders, please check in with your homeroom teacher. If you're in school, if you're at home, you can hop on your Google Meet and talk with me. And just so you know, we're almost done with this unit. Nice job, everyone. Way to go.